Well, Dave Keating is our reporter in Brussels, and we can talk to him about all of this now. Dave, how likely is it that this Danish withdrawal will impact other European troops on the ground?
It seems quite likely, which is what makes this such a setback for the French efforts to Europeanize the Sahel region. This agreement to set up this task force was reached in March of 2020, and this was really France trying to have this task force kind of gradually take over for the existing Barkhane task force, which they entered the region with. And it was actually set up at the invitation of the Nigerian and Mali governments at the time to tackle these terrorist groups in the Sahel region. But now we have this new transitional junta in Mali, and they've taken a very different line about this European mission, particularly after this government was criticized by the European Union for not holding elections as it said it would. This junta government in Mali is also accused of using the Wagner Group, which is a paramilitary organization from Russia, which is now the subject of EU sanctions, which is part of the whole conflict over Ukraine. So there are ratcheting up tensions between the EU and Mali, and that seems to have triggered this response from the government where they basically said that the Danish troops were not invited and didn't have any legal authority to be there. Now, France has said, no, you absolutely do have the legal authority to stay there, but Denmark just said, we're going to listen to the Mali government here. If they say they don't want us here, we're going to leave. So about 105 Danish personnel have been in Mali since earlier this month. They will leave. And the question is, will this now prompt the other European countries, part of this Takuba task force, who were supposed to be sending troops in the coming months, will that cause a rethink? Norway, Hungary, Portugal, Romania, Lithuania, they're all supposed to be sending troops. Sweden has troops there right now, and the question is Sweden going to have their troops exit earlier? That would leave just France there once again, which is exactly the situation the French President Emmanuel Macron wanted to get out of. Now, this ruling military junta was telling Denmark, we don't want you here. And if France is telling you that you can stay here, you should not listen to them because they have certain colonial reflexes, as they put it. But the irony here is that because of these developments, we could end up with a situation where it is just, once again, only France running the show for this mission in the Sahel, which would seem to be going back to colonial reflexes, which is what the junta in Mali says they don't want.
Well, as you suggest then, this is really rather bad news for the French President Emmanuel Macron, and it may be that the burden of counter-terrorism in the Sahel falls brought back to France rather than to this Europe-wide mission.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't just about this specific mission. I think this is a big setback to President Macron's overall vision of EU strategic autonomy and European defense. That is, Europeans coming together to defend themselves and have defense operations without the Americans. This mission was really set up as an example of what Europeans can do when they do things for themselves and they don't rely on the American-dominated NATO. So this is a very embarrassing setback for the very concept that Europeans can or could work together in order to have military operations that don't rely on the Americans. Because in this instance, you can see that once again, we have this problem of the Europeans not really trusting each other, that Denmark wouldn't take France's word or urging to stay in the mission and that they were so quick to pull out. And some would say that if this had been a NATO mission and the Americans told Denmark, please don't pull out, Denmark probably wouldn't have. So this is a setback not only for this particular mission, but also for Macron's vision as France right now holds the rotating presidency of the European Council. And he's really pushing for this idea that we Europeans need to stop relying on the Americans. We need to cooperate with each other for our own self-defense and the defense of the region. This, again, makes it look like Europeans are not quite ready to do that.
Dave Keating in Brussels, thanks very much.